Greetings, flesh creatures. It is I, Megatron. On behalf of TFYLP, I want to congratulate you for listening to the most refined collective podcast on this miserable little planet Earth. Yes. Here you'll find knowledgeable fans discussing every aspect of Transformers and beyond. Now, enjoy the show while I continue my path to complete conquest of all of you miserable biological entities. Predacons, terrorize!
Hi, welcome to TFYLP. I'm Lucas. I am joined tonight by Phil.
Aye.
And Peter.
Forever Destron.
And Rick.
Hi.
And Paul.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome, guys. We're live tonight, Monday, March 21st. So, got a full crew tonight.
We all have facial hair except Peter.
That is a true statement.
Peter, the last time I saw
you got
you,
like a
you had
Sharpie or
mustache.
something?
Yeah. What?
Didn't you have a mustache the last time we saw you?
Maybe. I don't know. I went and saw my kid, and she wouldn't recognize me if I had facial hair, so I had to go and reset myself to look like I was 25. So I did that, unlike all you guys who are incapable of doing so.
Yeah.
Just because I don't have a chin without a beard doesn't mean you got to point it out.
It's good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Same.
Is it though?
So, Rick, you missed the TFCon wrap-up show last week. So, is there anything that you want to add from your experience? I think you were, a presenter on a couple panels, or MC or something, and you did some other things?
Yeah, you cut out, but I think the question, I mean, my internet feed is so bad, there's no point in me being on the show, but I think the question was, what did I do at TFCon and what was my opinion of said show?
Sure.
Yeah. This time, I'm invited.
You just cut out as soon as you're starting.
We got, yeah!
Let's try this on my phone. How about that?
We'll see. Rick, it wouldn't be a show without someone having some kind of difficulties, right?
The Russian cyber attack has started with Rick's computer.
Oh, yeah, man. If only we could have another cyber attack here. This would be great.
They really went for the jugular.
We
can't hear you, Rick.
Former Hasbro executive. He is #1 target.
You have to connect your headphones to the phone, I think.
I still mad about SDC Metroplex silver thighs. Me want Metro Titan. Let's attack.
Oh my goodness.
You guys,
Okay, so
what a floating head than his Unicron was there.
you're all terrible, and I hate you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but we can't
hear
see you.
But now we can't see you.
You're blurry, pointing the wrong direction.
It looks like it's pointed
It's all
at
awful.
your computer.
Your camera's pointed the wrong way. Point your camera to you.
I think there's like a
I'm
button.
trying, God damn it.
There you are. Now you're in selfie mode.
Oh.
Oh, yep. So,
I listened to a
do
few
you have a
episodes of the
stand
Triple
or something?
Takeover this week, and I was like, man, we can be this good. Nah.
well, welcome to TFYLP, where everything that should go wrong does and more.
Yes.
You look
You
awesome
three
now.
Here. No, basically it's just me, right? I like how this filter makes me look extra bald.
The
Anyway,
quality is like 10
It's-
times better than the last video stream, so
All right,
this works.
So
You can see all of your
TFCon.
pores.
Yeah, Colin decided he he needed a little extra help on the show. You may have noticed that he's still announcing guests for the previous convention, which just took place. So I'm pretty sure next week he's going to announce that Peter Cullen was in attendance at TFCon, but because the announcement's coming out now, nobody went to his panel. So I went out there to MC and kind of do some hosting duties for panels rather than present a panel, and I think maybe I might be sliding into that role a little bit at TFCon. So we'll see what might come of it. TFCon was big. Someone pulled me aside and said, Rick, what's the difference between having worked both conventions, TFCon and BotCon, at their peak? What do you think is the difference between TFCon today and BotCon at its peak? And I said, well, this runs very smoothly and all the staff likes each other. And I think the main lesson was that the convention store and the exclusives sucked all the air out of the room. And it was such a nightmare having that club store where you had to fill out a form. You give the form to the person. The person doesn't know what anything on the form is. They're running around trying to put everything together. Then they have to do math, figure out taxes, give you your stuff, and then call the next person. And it would take hours and hours and hours for anyone to go through the convention line.
Well, I'm just really disappointed that for TFCon that there's not an option to fax my entry form in to go to the show, because that's really what I'm looking for.
I've spoken to Colin about that, about having courier pigeons as well. But something about COVID and the border. But it just seemed to run a lot smoother. It seemed to run a lot smoother, including the guests. So there were so many guests that you had to do like switchovers. You didn't have each guest didn't have a specific booth, right? You had a banner in the back, and then when the guest was done, you had to take that banner off, put the new banner on, and put the new signage up for the next guest, because there were so many guests, nobody could have like their own permanent spot. There were so many guests. I like to get every autograph there just because, not because I'm an autograph hound, just because it's a nice memento for me for the convention. And there was no way of doing that. It was just impossible. There were so many people there, and I don't see that as a negative. I just see that as opportunity, great fun opportunity for. Really, it benefits, I think, the people in attendance. And that's the beauty of being in California, and that's the beauty of being the biggest Transformers convention, that you're going to have a ton of guests and you're going to have a ton of quality guests. So yeah, it went very smooth. And I think, especially with the panels, the guys, Evan and Paul, oh my God, they have got that's all they do is the AV stuff. And they've got it down to like a science. I remember like Brian Savage would have to come in. See, you idiot, you need to use this cable here. And everyone had a different hookup. And then IDW would come in, and when you plug their thing in, it had a different hookup, but then it would change the whole screen, and then they'd have to redo their presentation. And then Hasbro had a different plug, and just a total nightmare. Everything was just streamlined, and it felt nice. It just felt nice.
Question for you on that. Just the general smoothness of it. Do you think TFCon could benefit from having one of the organizers start a Twitter war against anyone that was maybe even interested in going to their show?
I think what TFCon lacks, and I don't mean this as direct criticism of Colin. I don't want to say anything bad about him. I've known him for 20 years. But I think what TFCon needs to do is fat thumb some Tucker Carlson or some Candace Owens tweets in order to get the conversation moving.
They're just asking questions. They're just playing devil's advocate,
Yeah, they're doing their own research.
yeah, I really think, to get people talking and to bring eyes to the convention, because there is no such thing as negative press.
Right.
So I really think that they really need to hit the fat thumb harder on the Bill O'Reillys and the Ted Cruz and stuff.
I mean, I do completely agree with you there, Rick. I think that that's the big thing that the show's lacking. So if you can just let Colin know that.
We need a Transformers conventions for real Americans, not something for the coastal elites run by a Canadian.
You know what I was disappointed in, and I made a point to tell Colin this, all kidding aside, they actually had on-site COVID testing that was free. And I was just, enraged by that, you can go there, and if you didn't have your vaccination card, you can get a free COVID test. And then, 5 minutes later, you can walk into the convention. I thought that was incredibly inconvenient for people.
And terribly irresponsible.
How dare they not make money on those tests?
Yeah, it goes to show you how reckless Canadians are. And what we really do need to close the border. We really need to build that wall.
Made of fire. Fire wall.
I tell you what, so...
Yeah, it's science.
All right.
Canadians fear fire.
Rick, did you happen to watch last week's episode?
Not yet, no.
Okay. So Catherine was on last week's episode telling us about her experience from the convention.
Did I come
And she
up?
mentioned you did. She mentioned that you guys were hopping around one evening going to the different room parties, and that you went to a room party with her that was I just would like to hear your take on this room party.
All right. A lot of people have been. All right. So, Catherine's a nice person. She's a nice girl. And I was calling it. I'm an old man. I look like I'm 53. I'm actually 43. And I'm just like texting to see who's around. Hey, who's still up? Who just, I wasn't looking to go drinking or anything. I just wanted to hang out. And Catherine texts me back first, and she sends me a picture. Says, "Hey, I'm going here." And I look at the picture, and it says SFW merch. I'm like, oh, SFW, that must be the name of the company, or the name of the promoter, whatever, the vendor. And I'm like, all right, it's a parts party. I haven't been to one of those in like 10 years. Let me make an appearance. So I go to the room, and I walk in, and I'm looking, and I'm like, is it number 526 or 529? And then I see on the flyer, it says 18 plus. I'm like, in my head, instantly, it went to, oh, 18 plus. That's because it's late and kids are sleeping. So as I walk in, I see as I walk in, I see a plethora of dildos. Segmented. I mean, if Rhinox had junk, the junk was on the bed amongst bodies and stuff like that. And I quickly realized that Catherine unintentionally took a picture. It's not SFW, it's NSFW. Not safe for work. So I'm like in the situation now, and I'm a part of the room, and I'm a little out of my element. And so I feel that I must now entertain what is happening here. And so the young lady who's there, she hands me a book, and she says, here, look at this. It's porn. It's porn, just so you know. It's porn. Because she could clearly see that the blood was draining from my face. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let me look at it because it's in my hand now. And it was, everyone has different taste. I'm not judging. I'm simply reporting that inside the book was Transformers Prime and Transformers animated content, which it's not for me. It's for other people. It's not for me. I'm not going to judge those people. If it's their thing, hey, that's cool. So I put the book down, and then I start talking to I would assume is their leader, the woman who makes said products. And
she's talking to me, and I'm like, oh, what type of techniques do you use to manufacture these? And we go back and forth. And then I say, well, everyone, have a great night. As I'm leaving the room, I make a comment because I don't know. It's where my head goes. And I look at and now I'm holding said item in my hand. And I look at it and I'm like, you know what this needs? A suction cup. So you can put it on the wall in the shower. She's like, I'm working on that. And for some reason, there's a QR code on it. So I'm leaving and she's like, hey, I got a gift for you. I give these to people who I like. And she gives me a tiny little, I would say, item for a 3 3/4 inch figure. And I'm like, instantly in my head, I go, oh, this would be a lot cooler if it glowed in the dark. And she says, hang on, takes it back, gives me another one. This one glows in the dark. Well, thank you. I'm going to leave now. And so I left with Catherine and her other friend, Emily. And that was our evening, as reported by me. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. How different is that from Catherine's?
That's pretty accurate.
That's about the same. Yeah.
She didn't tell us that you made the comment at the end, but she said you basically, she didn't know what it was either, and you walked in and just looked a little dumbstruck as to what was going on.
I mean, I said I'm here for the parts party, and they said, of course. So everyone's
here for the gangbang.
And it's no judgment on my end. They were nice people. They gave me a parting gift, and it gave me a great story to tell.
So now, Rick, I was gonna ask before we started the story, what's your favorite item that you picked up at TFCon? But apparently we have an answer already, right?
Well, I love glow in the dark, and so my Rhinox is a happy guy because he's got all his shoes and his glasses and everything else he needs to have a great time at TFCon. So thank you.
There you go. All right.
But I actually took her card because she was making really cool Tarn masks.
Yeah, the Tarn masks are really awesome. I think, don't you have one of those, Paul?
Yeah, I want to order a Tarn mask from her. So she was really cool. They were really cool. I said she, the pronouns are they, them. So they were really cool. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah.
So I guess we actually have another topic tonight, apparently. So thank you for the report from TFCon and, getting into all this stuff. But what we actually wanted to talk about for the topic tonight is our Transformers wish list of the figures that, they have been pumping out figures like crazy over the last few years. And, there's still quite a few that we haven't seen. And so I figured I'd have you guys on. We can have a discussion on what figures you would still like to see. Now, I'm not sure if I have the right cast list for this because I feel like that the figures that we probably want to see may not necessarily align with the average fan, but nevertheless.
What's an average fan? Quantify that statement.
Well, I'm just saying, the person who picks up a Transformer here or there at their local Walmart or Target versus, the people that have been in the fandom for quite a long time.
So third-party guys and, your guys that shop at all the big name online retailers and stuff.
Sure.
Okay.
So Ron wishes that we would get a Legacy Twincast, and I think I have some good news for you.
He's in luck.
Because I believe there was just a leak today of the what is it, Wave 4, I believe, that he's in with the listing on Wave 4 of Legacy. So there you go, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
I wasn't sure if he was teeing that up like for us or if it was he legit was like, man, I really wish.
Who was the other leak? Well, I mean, let's just go all in on that leak. Who was the other character?
I might go so far as to say Twincast and Rewind.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this off now. Is that okay?
Yeah.
But there was another character that was leaked. Who was the other character that was leaked?
Let me look. I can't remember who.
Talking about Blitzwing?
Blitzwing has a blurry photo out. The breakdown.
I knew Blitzwing was coming.
Yeah.
Blitzwing, yeah.
But there was another one with the Twincast announcement that was a new
Yeah,
character.
it was Breakdown, Cheetor, and Wheeljack.
Oh, right. Breakdown.
So Wheeljack, can we talk about that? Like, do we need that? Do we need how many times have they done that? Like, that has more mold
What if
uses
it's a prime
than,
Wheeljack?
Well, yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh, what if it's a RID Wheeljack? An RID Wheeljack in Legacy?
Way
No,
way
what
better.
I want is
all those options, way better.
is the same Wheeljack that we already got in Earthrise, but a slight variation on the deco. That's what I want.
And enough to piss me off?
He'll have
What if it's
translucent
Armada
ears.
Wheeljack?
This one will have translucent ears. Everything
He'll
else will
have
be the
bright
same.
blue ears.
Yeah.
He'll have the bright blue ears.
I mean, I'd be happy with the Armada Wheeljack.
Armada Wheeljack. There you go. Not Sideswipe.
Anything other than the Wheeljack that I'm pretty sure it is would be great.
But you know what it's gonna be. I mean, you already know what it's gonna be.
Right.
It's just a new box.
It is. And it's because they're making Slicer in the Shattered Glass shit, so they gotta, I don't know. It just seems like such a boner move.
Well, you know,
Bad boner.
Cheetor again.
That kind of makes sense, though. Like, I think, he's a popular Beast Wars character. They recolored him, twice already? They probably just, probably high demand for him. He only came out once in Kingdom, and then once in the Netflix line.
Night Prowler.
Now,
Shadow
I
Beast.
can't remember when you order these cases. Can you order the individual figures, or do you have to order like the whole wave?
Depends who you're buying them from.
Okay.
Some places you can. Some buy enough in bulk where they can do the single cases. Others just do the assortments.
Because I think that would be the lame thing. If you had to, if you get the whole, whatever, case wave, and then you have to, get the Wheeljack, unless you want to have it in the other packaging. But, if you already have the figure.
Who wants that?
Speaking of figures that we want, I mean, we've seen Polar Claw, right, in the art, but we've never seen any listings for Polar Claw. Am I correct?
Yep.
That's
Well, I
accurate.
think Gears was in that picture too, and I think wasn't he nixed from? Of course, I'm sure at some point he's going to come out, but.
And there was an alligator too from one of these guys, one of the fossilizer guys. Wasn't there an alligator fossilizer?
Yeah, and a saber-toothed tiger one.
Oh.
I mean, Rick, you're the one that would know best. Clearly, that key art was made at the beginning of the line before everything was completed, and they made some changes midway, and some of those got nixed.
Feels like some characters got nixed there. Unfortunately, I don't know if they got pushed back, but it feels like they got nixed. I mean, there were some Generations figures that I wanted that that we had planned for that got nixed. So it's a shame. Looks like there was some development on them enough to make some art around them, especially with the fossilizers. But I think fossilizers might be a done thing.
So I guess the question is, if that art exists, does that guarantee that they have renders and stuff that they could still possibly come down the pipes? Is it a guarantee, or is it it could or couldn't?
No, it means that they may have developed it, but they never cut the tools. So it means that, it may exist in a computer file, but they never actually cut steel.
So lots of stuff exists as renders, but maybe never gets to.
Yeah.
There could be like 30 figures that are in the vault that have never gotten to production, but all they got to do is spend the money to make the molds.
Yeah, especially for G.I. Joe. There's a lot of those. There's a lot of Joes.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Joe vehicles. But they never came to pass.
Well, and I wonder with some of this stuff, like, at what point are they going to just completely be like, all right, we're done, on to the next thing? Or do you, like, will we still see this as the new whatever trilogy, whatever we want to call it, legacy, all that kind of thing? Like, do we think that they're going to continue trying to, like, fit everything into that same scale and style and all that? Or do you think at some point they're going to be like, all right, starting over again?
Well, legacy is just it's just the evolution of Chug, right?
Right.
That's all it is. So every now and again,
chug for Paul and his face. Chug.
Chugster piece.
Chug it up, Paul.
You're always going to get your core figures like Starscream, Bumblebee, Optimus, Megatron, Soundwave, Repugnus, and Blitzwing. They're always going to put those characters in every line that they do. Right?
Where's my cross blades?
He got cut for Repugnus.
Give me some cross blades and then retool them into Blue Bacchus. Hook it up. Give me Vroom and then give me Bike Dude.
Hey, you know what? We've gotten some amazing characters. We got Iguanus coming out. Who would have thought we were going to get Iguanus? Right? We got a Masterpiece Skids. Who thought Masterpiece Skids would exist?
Me?
Not I, sir.
Peter always has.
So
faith.
any character is possible. We got Star Saber coming. We got a big ass Unicron. There is no character that is off the table at this point, as far as I'm concerned. American, Japanese. The only thing we haven't seen more of are European dudes. We've seen some G2 guys. We got Road Rocket coming, right? That was another leak. Maybe it's the G2 Road Rocket. We don't know. But I would assume that's maybe an RC remold.
That's the rumor.
It seems like at some point European, guys are going to be in the Generation Selects or something like that, right? Like, it seems like it makes sense to go ahead and do that, right?
It makes no sense that they've been passed over for so very long.
I would love, some of those Power Masters like Ironhide and Stax and guys like that come back, be a part of the team.
We're getting a little bit of European love from Super 7 with their Trax and Bombshell. Those are European Action Master homages.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, true. Well, is Trax really an Action Master homage?
He comes with his hat.
Yeah.
With his hat? Okay.
Yeah. And Bombshell comes with Needler.
I didn't realize the Trax also came with his hat. He should come with Raoul.
One thing, with the Transformers card game a couple years ago, it frustrated me because some of the good characters in that never actually or haven't had a recent figure. So Flame War is an example, or as Soulcraft in the chat mentions, the Omnibots. We get those and I'm like, oh, Omnibots are coming, obviously, because they did cards of them. And then no, not yet.
Yeah, Omnibots. It's crazy to think we have Reflector, right? It's crazy to think that we have a Reflector that's 3 dudes that combine together into a camera. Released
and
we
got him in both their decos, the toy deco, cartoon deco. You can mix and match and play to your heart's content.
Yeah,
however you want to do it.
We got a
scrap face deco
version as well, right? So it's as I said, we got Masterpiece Skids, we got Masterpiece Train Bots coming. no character is off the table as far as I'm concerned. There is nothing that we can say, well, they'll never make that. I don't know. I think anything is possible now, especially now that guys like Knockout, RC, Bulkhead from Prime are joining the Chug Classics Generations-esque line. You know,
I think what we have working against us is that, and I shouldn't say working against us, what I think we have working against G1 fans, which I am firmly in, is that we are getting to the point now where, like Rick said, we're getting Chug versions of toys that came out by the time Chug had already started. So Chug existed when Prime RC came out, and now we're going to get a Chug Prime RC. So the chances of us getting Chug scale of some of the G1 toys we never got Chugs of starts to get slimmer because they're not just tapping into the G1 character base anymore. I'm not saying it won't happen, but it's a bigger library of characters to pull from now.
But at the same time, we've gotten Skylinks, right?
Yeah.
Omega Supreme, Scorponok, right? So I think there's some guys that are still there. I mean, I would have loved to have seen more IDW inspired characters like that World that we got, which was just epic. It's one of my favorite figures of the new era.
I feel like Flames Toys should take that, do a take on that World.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Oh, Zaldron is suggesting that we do a Chug counter. That's too bad. If only we had that, I could just say, every time we say Chug. Although, Paul, we can just watch his reaction every time we say it.
It's just like a little meter of Paul's face, and as it goes across the screen, it gets redder and redder until finally it gets all the way to the right side of the screen, and his head just explodes.
Every time you say it, I'm not going to talk for a minute. So if you want me to just not be here, just keep saying it.
I feel like there's a joke here that I'm missing out on, Paul. So what is the
Chug as a term needs to go away. It's gross. It just sounds juvenile. It's stupid. And it's not even accurate anymore.
Well, in your head, what does Chug refer to?
It refers to an era of 4 toy lines which no longer exist, but people act like new things. But it's all just generations. It's all just generations.
Right.
That's what it is.
Legacy, Siege, War for Cyber, it's all generations.
Yes. It's all just, it always has just been generations. It's retconned to just the G of that stupid word.
So should it be like Chug, Is that kind of
But if it's been retconned, then that means that there's an alternate universe where Chug is still in existence, and we're just waiting for the multiverse of madness to break through and establish that Chug has always existed. It was the friends we made along the way.
Regeneration Chug.
So it's always the friends. That's the important part. Whatever. Use your weird ass term. Enjoy.
I want Gingham. I want Clipper. I want the Micromasters that they skipped. I want a fucking Galaxy shuttle that's this fucking tall. I want the Crossformers. I want the rest of the tapes. Give me bolts and all the weird shit that doesn't exist. Give me all the weird read echoes. Come out with them. Freaking make the stuff. Give me Omnibots all day long. We've been shouting Omnibots for 4 years on this show. Omnibots. Give me the read echoes of, I don't know, the Omnibots didn't really have read echoes, but just give me read echoes of Omnibots. I don't give a shit. Whatever.
Peter.
Give me a DevCon. We've got 4,000 Scourges. This box is nothing but Scourges. Scourges, not sweeps. That's in another box over there. I don't want those. I have them. Give me a DevCon. Give me a Slizardo to go with my DevCon. I want to play like I can do the show, like I'm an old man playing with the toy, or I'm a little kid playing with the toy that's matching. Look, I can match my toy to the show, Dad. Check this shit out. And your dad's like, I don't fucking care. Go away. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll just play with toys forever and be sad. And then you chase toys for the rest of your life. Do that. Make the toys from the cartoon. You air the cartoons for free on YouTube. Put the toys in my lap so I can play with them. Make the toys from Victory. Oh, let's say go. We're going to say let's say go 400,000 times on Transformer Tuesday, but only make 2 Victory characters. Where are the Crossformers? Where's my better Deathsaurus than the piece of crap Combiner Wars thing that you called Deathsaurus? So, no, Skylings Reed Echoes do not count as a Deathsaurus. That does not count. Give me a better Lyokaiser. Give me the goddamn Breast Force. Give me some Dino Force. Give me the Micromasters that you skipped. Do something more than the base dozen characters plus Iguanus. We got Iguanus, everybody. I'm so happy for Iguanus, and I am genuinely happy for Iguanus. That's great. Great. And Seekers. Seekers with crowns, and Seekers with capes, and Seekers with seats. Oh boy! Yeah, let's do more of that. Whatever. Give me 15 Seekers. Where's my purple Seeker? Where's my Hot Link and my other guys? Give me those guys. Give me all the things that come off the show so I can enjoy your frickin' toy line rather than buy the same goddamn thing over and over. Where's my Gears? Where's my Polar Claw? Where's my Barbarian? Where's my Double Punch? Where's every Redeco possibility? Milk me. Do it.
You know, that is part of the problem with like the Legacy line is like, yeah, you get one Iguanus, but it's just a taste of all the rest of the dudes you're missing. Like, do that to like, there's 12 other dudes you got to do that to.
Give me Stranglehold. Give me Bludgeon. Give me Splashdown. Give me the god. If you're going to do the Pretenders, do some Pretenders. They did the Master Force Pretenders, and that was great. Then they didn't quite finish. Yeah, give me Pincher. They didn't quite finish them. They gave up on Diver. You can't do Diver. What's wrong with you? Finish what you started. Yes, I'm hanging on for more, but I'm running out of patience. Not running out of money, but I am spending it on third party. So get that shit straight.
It is our fault that Diver didn't happen because we all were supposed to buy 35 Grandmaxes.
Some of us only bought 3. I'm freaking sorry. And some of us are complaining that we didn't even get one. It wasn't. Well, guess whose problem that is? Not mine. I tried. I bought your copies.
Yep. That was, isn't it bizarre that they even gave you the number? They just needed 3,000. Like, why would they even create that toy if they didn't make 3,000 of them? You know, like Rick, doesn't that seem like for a Titan class toy, isn't that like the run too small to even be profitable?
Well,
or is the answer just it's Japan? You know, I don't know.
I don't know what the right answer is. I'm still like shaking after like Peter's tirade.
I'm just trying to instead of just having dead silence, I'm trying to keep us going because it was amazing.
I mean, I really don't know. I really don't know why they couldn't just tool it up as part of the Fort Max and just gate it off so that they can run it later on in different colors, or do it as an exclusive at Comic-Con or something.
Or even like they do those magazine exclusives in Japan, you know, like just do some rando thing. They'd already tried the incentivization thing, the incentive thing, and it didn't work. But like you said, gate off the mold, run it later.
The funny thing about that when they did that Grand Max through the Tomy Mall is that if they would have done that today and like with Hasbro and their own store and whatnot, I think that they would have gotten the number that they needed to get to. But like back then, it was
Zaldron says it was 5,000 to get the Diver mold, 3,000 to get the Grand Max made. So we hit the 1 mark, but we didn't get as far as we needed to.
So they wouldn't even have made Grand Max if they hadn't gotten 3,000.
That's my understanding, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It changes it a little bit, but it still doesn't make sense that we never saw it in any sort of capacity down the road. Now, I have a Diver figure. Someone made a brilliant Diver, like pop on, pop off thing, and I painted it, and it looks great. So I have a Diver, and it looks just like the one from whatever, but it's it's resin print or whatever. But it's not official. I feel sad and cheated that they didn't even finish there's 4 Master Force Pretenders, on the Cybertron side. You couldn't make 4 frickin' Pretenders? Anyway.
So here's my concept for getting that stuff out. My concept for getting Micromasters out. FCF figures. There were blind packs, right? There were 12 figures 6 colored, 6 clear, or pewter.
And chase, or yeah.
Chase. You didn't know which one you were getting. And then later on, that translated to minicons, right? There would be minicon blind packs, and you didn't know which minicon you were getting. Minicon has a ton of parts, as many or more parts as some of those pretenders or micromasters. That's where those could have existed. That's where they could have just printed money by giving those, world's smallest transformers, same thing, came in those blind boxes. I mean, we would have eaten that stuff up over here. And there would have been like trading spots at conventions, and then you do your chase figures, and people are buying cases just to get the chase figure. I was one of those guys that hunted down a lot of those chase figures when those FCF guys came out. Still missing some, but I got most of them.
See, here's where I'm going to disagree with that, Rick, just because, like, I bought those pretenders that came out with Titan's Return, or was that Titan's Return the pretenders came with?
Power of the Primes.
No, Power of the Primes. I'm sorry, thank you. Power of the Primes. I was not happy about them. They were not what I want out of a pretender toy. And I'm not saying that I need a full-on new shell, a new inner bot, but I do really like what they're doing with the Iguanas. The motorcycle mold is kind of meh, but the fact that we're getting a robot mode that looks like the Pretender Shell Iguanas, that's the iconic version of Iguanas. We've gotten, Skullgrim sort of like that with the repaint that we got of Straxus back in the day. But, to me, that is what I want, not something that is this big. I get for Micromasters, that makes sense, but to continue on with a half-ass Pretender toy line, that's not what I want to see of these characters coming into toy form in the 21st century.
But most of those Pretenders that they released in Power of the Primes were specifically the ones from Master Force, so they fit in the like scale-wise, thematically. Like, you've got your Metal Hawk figure and your they did the Chase Shuda and whatever. So you've got your figures that are deluxes, and then you've got your Pretenders who are little guys, Pretender, and off they go. They don't hit the mark. And I spent a lot of money, and a lot of people did, buying the little resin upgrades for their whips and their swords and their guns and their axes and all their extra crap. And that's great. But we did that because they were so far off the mark. So yeah. Iguanas is better, still not perfect, but a step in the right direction. If we can get them, not to say that, if they don't do this, I'm going to quit Transformers forever. But if we could get just like a few more before this is all, I don't want just pick one.
I actually like the Pretenders. I kind of like that concept that they did. I thought it was kind of fun. I mean, it's not the same thing, and I would have liked to have seen them actually do more than characters than what they had done. But I didn't necessarily mind that as a concept. But I guess that's a great question. I feel like in general with some of these is, would we prefer for them to do a slight repaint remold of something where it's not exactly what you want, but it gets the character out there in a new form? Or would you rather them know? Like, I would rather wait until they can do a perfect of, X figure.
You can't say perfect because they've been teasing us with this incremental improvement thing for 15 years.
Right.
In the Chug style, or however we want to, describe it.
That's what I want to is something better than nothing. And, those Pretenders are better than nothing, right? It represents the characters in that era of Transformers history on my shelf. I agree with you, Phil, that they're not the best. Peter, you're right. They don't hit the mark. But there's something about them that they're official, and they're there, and they're part of the line. And so they deserve to be on my shelf. And I wish they had all their shoes and their glasses and their whips and weapons and bracelets and surfboards and fishing rods and books and all sorts of things and their Pokemon. But
jackpot.
It is what it is. and I'd rather have something than nothing.
Yeah, and I think like we just, Lucas just said, jackpot here is sort of, this is that halfway point that is not, if they did the head better, I'd be so much happier about this toy. This isn't perfect, but this is, I'm pretty dang satiated with this. So give us more of these. I get it. The Pretenders are some of the hardest toys to do that. But give me more of that. I would say the Pretender I would start with, the two that I would start with that I would say would probably be the easiest to do in terms of making them actually Pretenders again. The two vehicle Pretenders, Gunrunner and Road Grabber, because you make them Transformers and then give them cars. Give them cars they could drive around in. I don't know why as a kid I liked that, because they turned into a jet. Not really, he didn't turn into a jet. This is what he turned into, for those not familiar with Gunrunner. This is, and by the way, that name for an Autobot, Gunrunner, like that's a little, but anyways, he clips on to this jet.
That's never really picked up in any of the comics. Gunrunner, you make such a great point. His name was Gunrunner, and it was never explained or explored anywhere in the comic.
Yeah, no, he's hitting up munitions depots and getting new weapons for the Autobots as they fight for Ukrainian resistance. But this
yeah, the Autobots would close the airspace.
Yeah.
I'm sure that we probably are not going to get a future Gunrunner. I'm just assuming they're not going to throw that name out there again. Maybe, who knows?
No, probably not.
So here's a quick story. Sidebar. While I was at Hasbro, we couldn't name a character Breakdown because they were worried that the character that said, "Oh, this character breaks," so we can't call him Breakdown.
Fucking dumb.
Goddamn marketers!
That's the reason why I've heard why an airlines will never sponsor a race car,
because they crash?
Don't want airlines associated with something that crashes.
Oh, American Airlines car has crashed. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. But Enterprise rent a car has, But I guess they want you to rent a car if their car crashes.
But Gunrunner here is a dude that I would love to see, and I brought him out tonight because I think he's more doable. I love the Pretenders. I brought out Pincher as well. I held up Pincher already. I love the Pretenders. I get the Pretenders are hard to do. They are not an easy concept to replicate. And if you did replicate them, again, what we've gotten is kind of a half-assed version so far. But I think Gunrunner and Road Grabber, whom I don't have anymore, and I can't find Gunrunner's car, those would be two that I would say would probably be some of the easiest Pretenders to recreate.
Just the idea of vehicles in Transformers. I mean, that's fun. Transformers constantly run around in vehicles and ships and jets and whatever. They're doing something. They're on little skateboards and skiffs or whatever, or the Marbs, I don't know. The one of the problems with Pretenders specifically, despite my love for them and your shared love for them, Phil, I love them, is that by the time Pretenders originally came out, while we might have been eating it up at the time, a lot of people were, hey, look, wait, what the hell? Why is this a bare-chested dude with a mustache and a sash? Does he come? What?
Dude.
Yeah, Stranglehold. Who's the Seaman looking dude?
I know Stranglehold, and I love Stranglehold, but most, casuals are going to walk by and be like, this isn't Transformers. Where's Truckman and Pew Pew Man or whatever?
Yeah, where's Scooter?
Yeah. So to replicate it like it should be would turn people off, unfortunately.
Pretenders are great, and I would love for the Pretenders to come back. Peter, you mentioned Room, right? Yeah, there's Blue Bacchus. Absolutely, I would love Crosshairs and those guys. And then you mentioned Omnibots and Crossblades.
Crossblades.
So you mentioned Omnibots, but in my head, you know what's crazy? We haven't gotten Omnibots, but we got all the Power Dashers. That's mind-blowing. So here's the other thing I want to think about that we haven't gotten, which I really want, because now I'm on this kick where I'm trying to get all the variants, and it's very frustrating.
Yup.
Mini spies. Mini spies. There's so many variants on these things. Tire variants, wheel variants, engine variants. Engines, mechanisms. But, yeah, we haven't gotten any mini spies. Where are the mini spies?
Even doing just rando micromasters in Mini Spy Deco with Mini Spy, faces or alt modes, just some sort of Mini Spy love. They could have done that anytime during Siege, and they failed.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, even in Armada, they could have done that.
Yeah.
That would have been the
I just
perfect
wonder
time.
how much more we'll actually see of some of those smaller figures, because it seems like a lot of the mini characters have just kind of sat and shelf formed, and I know Walmart quit carrying some of that stuff for a while.
My Walmart's discontinued the assortment a month into Siege. All of my Walmarts were like, nope. I'm still finding them at Ollie's.
Yeah,
they just sit at Ollie's.
Those smaller price points, those are very, very good for international markets.
Yeah.
Market handle deluxe figures, or let alone Voyagers. That's where a lot of those smaller price points thrive. Places like emerging markets, Turkey, Africa. That's where they're moving some of that cheaper product, less expensive price points.
Right.
And this stuff is cyclical. I mean, we will get those again. We got Micromasters, and then that faded away. And then we got Mini-Cons, and then that faded away. And then we got Micromasters Part 2, and it faded away. So we will get it again. Will we ever get complete sets? Probably not, but I don't know. I mean, I will say, for those folks asking for Omnibot love, third party is stepping up its game in terms of going into the depths of the character library. And so especially X-Transbots has shown off a ton of stuff that I'm pretty excited for. I'm not saying I'm going to grab all of them, but that is something that I'm excited to see, instead of just, again, Seeker after Seeker after Prime after Prime.
But I feel like even with the Seekers that oh, sorry, Peter, I interrupted you.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, even with the Seekers, I wish there was some more repaints. We still haven't seen some of the repaints, and it's I'd rather get that than a slightly better, Starscream. And I understand it, at retail, it probably makes more sense for them to put out Starscream than Sunstorm or somebody else, but...
Yeah, you're always going to have your tier A characters showing up again and again and again. So that's just a part of an evergreen brand. You're always going to have Luke Skywalker. Always going to have Darth Vader and R2-D2. Right? They're always going to show up, no matter what.
I don't know.
There's always going to be a He-Man. If there's a Master of the Universe line, there's always a He-Man Skeletor. But at least we got this guy.
Oh, and that's one of the guys I was going to say, is we need a new arc. We need an updated arc. That mold is how old now? I mean, how old is that design in that mold? It's time for a new one, man.
At least a few weeks.
Yeah.
For that one in particular, I was disappointed that it wasn't a play set and not a big dude. I'd rather have opened up and done something different than dude.
But what's more disappointing is that there's now Micro Machine Transformers, and the first place that is Bumblebee that opens up into a battle scene, street venue, rather than the Arc that opens up for your Micro Machines. Or a Metroplex. Nope, it's Bumblebee. It's Camaro Bumblebee. Which I guess makes sense from a marketing point.
Just back up a couple seconds. They at least could have given the Arc a port to connect to the other bases on the landing strip, or on the not the landing strip, the
ramp,
the ramp, the gangway there. Yeah, that was
no,
what?
No,
no,
not, because then you'd be actively taking away venues for third parties to contribute to the fan experience. So you can't do stuff like that. You can't shut those people out.
Yeah. Can we go
That's
back to
right.
Pincher and how awesome Pincher was? I mean, look at this guy. He's got a gun on his chest. Where's the ammo for that? I don't know. But he's got a scorpion tail on his back, and he's got a cool helmet, and you know, he's got the angry red eyebrows, and then he had a robot that turned into a scorpion because his name was Pincher.
You know who Pincher reminds me of, Peter? The Desert Viper.
The Desert Scorpion?
Desert Scorpion, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who that is. I just made that connection. I just realized that now, 30 years later, that guy is.
I like robots, you guys. I wish they made more varied robots. I'm happy that we get the characters that we get, and I'm happy that we get the toys that we get. But there's so much more love that they could be sharing with all of us. And so much more exposure to new Transformers concepts that new fans or the uninitiated fans haven't had a chance to experience and either accept or reject. You know?
The Headmasters. And fans finally got to experience Headmasters.
Yeah.
And they were hit.
Thought?
I mean, I thought they were great. I love that whole line. I thought the play pattern was really fun. I had a lot of fun with it with my kids. You know, with all the guys, and even the little Titan Master guys. Like, my kids really love those. So
I don't know that a lot of kids are gonna like the opening up Micro Machines movie verse non-transforming figure card blind sets. What?
Yeah, it kind of sucks that they're movie based, right? It feels like it's 10 years too late.
Yeah,
It really does.
It really does.
Well, that's about right for nostalgia's sake.
The same kids that have nostalgia for 2007 and 2009 don't have nostalgia for Micro Machines.
No,
That is true.
they're mixing that. They're really missing the mark on a couple ways. Yeah.
Cross the streams at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just assume they're like, well, the Micro Machine guys are going to buy them all, and then the movie people will buy them all, and there we go. We sell them twice. I don't know.
But aren't even the guys from the movie? I mean, you think about who Micro Machines targets, and have those kids really seen Dark of the Moon or Revenge of the Fallen? And I mean, those kids have seen Bumblebee, sure. They've seen Age of Extinction. The Last Night, maybe. But
The Last Night.
2007 was a long time ago.
Sure shit was.
Oh, Catherine,
I mean, I
that's
will
a good
say
point. Would it be nice if the Micro Machine sets were compatible with like some of these other figures, like the modular bases that we got recently, or you know, the Titans, just whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you imagine that Ark just parked there and you've got your Micro Machines? Like, what a missed opportunity.
Supervan City, man. We got to break out John Machida and do Supervan City with the Micro Machines and the movie characters, and you know, go and get a car wash with Bumblebee and Blackout or whoever.
I had lunch with him last week.
There you go.
TFCon.
With
I imagine
all
that
the
was a
other
very quick
hundreds of
meal.
guests, right?
Yes. Yeah. It was pretty spectacular. I had this, little bottle of Mio, and I would squirt it into my water, and it's just like I'm hooked on Mio now. And like I went to this table, and it was like David Kay, John Machida, it was Michael Bell, the girl who played Ty from the original Robots in Disguise, and somebody else. Laurie Falso, who did a bunch of characters, and he played Raphael.
Skydive, Tunnel Rat.
Yeah. And I'm like, what? And I squirted my water in, and they're like, ooh, yes.
I feel like
Water.
that there's a joke in there somewhere. It's like David Kay, John Machida, and Rick lock into a bar. But I don't know what the punchline is.
Rick was there? Rick was with them?
So
Where'd Paul go?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't
He
know.
kind of cursed and then walked away. I thought he was mad at something we had said.
He's
Did we say Chug?
Yeah, we said Chug too many times. Or maybe when we talked about third party. Oh, he's back.
Yeah. He probably
Chug, 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 chug. Chug it, Paul.
Yeah,
I kind of want to make a shirt for Peter that says "Milk Me." That's all I've been thinking about. Like, just milk me.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
I mean, you can milk anything.
I mean, this is probably, we're not through with the first quarter yet, but this is one of my favorite episodes of the year so far, between Rick's explanation of the parts party he went to and Peter's rant. This has been a classic TFYLP episode.
So, is there anyone else besides Pretenders that you want to see?
Action Masters. Gen 1.5. Yeah. We've been screaming rad for 4 years plus. They have all these jazzes and all.
We haven't gotten Kicker. Where's Kicker?
Where's Kicker? He's broken in package all over the world.
We've gotten him and GoBots, right? We've gotten Cybertron Optimus Prime. We got Armada Hotshot. We got Armada Starscream. Where's my Armada Megatron? I mean a real Armada Megatron, not that.
I was gonna say we've gotten Armada Starscream, we've gotten Armada Megatron already in Chug, so.
Oh, that just burns me up. It burns me up. We're
getting a Cybertron Metroplex this year.
But where's my Armada Clonus and Demolisher? At least give me Demolisher, right?
I brought him and left him sitting up here. I didn't draw attention to him. I found this junker, and this is this guy. He and his pal Cyclonus need. This is the one I'm going to cut up and try and give him hips because no one's going to give him any love, and he needs better articulation. But he still looks okay.
Not doing Cyclonus because of the name, right? And confusing people. But Demolisher, come on, give me Demolisher. I want a Demolisher. I understand you
can repaint him in his Energon colors.
There are a ton more Armada Unicron trilogy guys that deserve to be made. I would love to see a Red Alert. And guess what? You can still call him Red Alert.
I mean, that's what everyone thinks the JP93 is a pre-mold of.
Right.
Oh, I thought that was Skids.
No.
That
was a theory until we saw Skids.
Until we actually saw Skids, yeah. He can be whatever you want him to be.
Okay.
They can call him Med Alert. There was a G.I. Joe named Med Alert. Just call him Med Alert.
The theory changed all of a sudden because everyone was wrong?
You don't tell me you don't do that shit all the time, Paul. Don't even start.
No, everyone was
bitching. Like,
hey, I saw Hello Skids from like every one of you guys. And then now it's not, obviously.
And you were like, hey, bro, dog, you're all wrong because I know everything because I'm on the inside, see? Yeah. And you were right. And if you want me to, love you because you're right, then I will. Damn.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I just missed what it's now supposed to be, though.
Now it's whatever we want it to be until we're right. God damn it, Paul.
Now,
what was
JP93 looks like he's a pre-mold of Red Alert.
Of Armada Red Alert?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Again, these are theories. No one is saying this is a fact, and theories change once we get new facts.
Right. So really, Paul, the question is what are your thoughts on the Fans Toys knockoff announcements?
I think it's the greatest hypocrisy of all time. It's hilarious. That's what this show's about.
Do you think Anna is going to get Fans Toys figures if they're knockoffs?
Only if they're ridiculous colors and floppy and terrible and hollow.
I don't know.
I don't. On this show in like a month, and he's just got all this pent up commentary. It's just sprayed to all fields, and it's glorious.
if we ever do a TFYLP after hours again, I learned some stuff about Anna from Catherine.
Uh-oh.
Doesn't sound like something that should be
hold that
recorded.
off for after
Besides my-
hours. There you go.
But
We may have to kind of bring that back there for you, Rick. So
My suspicion is that it's not anything like secretive. It's stuff she probably shares with like the Discord group all the time. We just don't pay attention to the Discord group.
Or it could be just on shows that Rick isn't even on that, Anna said this. It's probably like we've already discussed this on Microcasters or, whatever. But
did you know Anna teaches critical race theory?
No.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
We're not hating on Anna, by the way. Like there's no Anna hate. I apologize if I was like throwing out a knockoff. Like it's just every Microcaster she throws out a new knockoff that she's gotten. That's all I'm saying. So,
You know what feels like a knockoff? This Cyberverse toy. I mean, doesn't this feel like Dollar General?
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh man, yeah,
Like,
all of those.
Do you really want to talk about that, Lucas, or do we want to not go onto a tangent?
A tangent about what?
About the Fans Toys stuff.
Oh, the Fans Toys, not like, no, we're not really gonna.
Okay,
I feel like that's gonna be its own. Like, spend another 30 minutes discussing that crap. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, the one thing that like. I almost want every figure to be redone now in this new scale because the level of articulation that they have now compared to what we were getting, even 5 years ago is just so much greater that it's like, okay, well, can you redo all the combiners, not just, Minosaur? Can you, redo, like, even the Headmasters? Like, I really enjoyed most of those, but it's like, well, can we have updated versions of some of those too? I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I feel like I really enjoyed the new line that they've done over the last few years, and it's like just do everything G1, like do it all.
It gets to a point though. How many wheeljacks do we need? Right? How many? Yeah, I mean, as I said, they're always going to make Prime and all those guys. But how many give Wheeljack a break. Don't make Wheeljack for like 6 years.
What if, okay. What if it's the Wheeljack in Wave 4 is Action Master Deco, not Slicer, Action Master Deco Wheeljack. It's just this much different from regular Wheeljack. And they're going to come out with a car later that's the Turbo Racer that could be redone as Gunrunner's car, and it'll have a little pop-on cannon, pom-pom cannon that you can clip onto Gunrunner, and all our dreams will come true, and we'll be happy. No, none of that shit's happening. None of it. Not gonna happen.
I've got a
Rise of the
slight
Beast
theory.
and they've got to cancel all. They actually designed all those toys, but they're not going to make them because Rise of the Beast.
I know a guy that worked for Hasbro, and he just confirmed in public that everything has been designed, and they're just turning it off to spite the fans because of Rise of the Beasts and the backlash that they got. That's why they're pushing it back a year, so they can really cancel it hard. The things that we like.
Rise of the Bread?
They're pulling a G.I. Joe. It's what we in the industry call a G.I. Joe. Be it G.I. Joe Retaliation or G.I. Joe Snake Eyes Glory. What you do is you make a movie and you design all this product and then you push the movie back. Right? That's really how it's done. It helps bring focus to the toy line.
Yeah. The whole point is to nuke your own profits. Just kill them and make everyone mad out of spite.
Yeah. And you know what I'm worried about with Rise of the Beast? I'm worried about G.I. Joe-ification. And G.I. Joe-ification is also known as Rise of Cobra, where every figure in the toy line is black and all the packaging's black. And grandma and grandpa and mom and dad go to buy a figure and they can't tell who's who because they all look the same.
Every character should be that gray, stealthy, primal thing that we saw.
Yes,
Every
absolutely.
cheetah, every tiger, every Dragonstorm or whoever, Scourge, is it Scourge? It's in the new movie. Every Optimus, everyone should be in gray. That way we know that which ones are bests.
I mean, I'm looking forward to that. So that way, when they're fighting in the movie, I can't actually tell what's what. So that's always good.
That's taking it back to the movie
That helps
roots.
production because you don't have to put that much detail into it. So it's really a cost-effective technique.
Yeah, I heard they got the fight cinematographer from the first Transformers movie and the lighting guy from Game of Thrones for the battle scene. Yeah. And that's, it's both going to be too dark to be able to see, and nothing differentiates.
Right. There's that meme of Dr. Manhattan sitting on Mars, and he says it's 1989. I see a gritty, dark Batman movie, and then it's like 2006. I see a gritty, and then it keeps going. I kind of feel like there's a Transformers equivalent of that.
Yes.
Give me your face.
What are your guys' thoughts on ball joints? Ron is curious that
What?
I have not gotten the new Perceptor yet, so I think it's on its way. But he was saying, I guess, that there's ball joints in his arms. Is that right?
Yeah, and my kid got Perceptor. He has a debit card now. I don't know what the hell's going on, but he ordered his own Perceptor and had it shipped here. Whatever. And yeah, that's what it does. It's like one of those wooden German puppet things where the legs go.
It's begging for stop motion.
Yeah. This is not the first time I've had him dance a jig on TFYLP.
Wise Dan.
Perplexer.
That's the Pennywise.
Yeah. There just
He's dancing for science.
Yeah, there's a tuba just playing somewhere, and he's dancing to it. I mean, the ball joints, they're cheap and effective. I don't mind that they're back. It's a nice range of motion on his arm for Perceptor. The arm's got to be part of the transformation process. Certainly, I think when you're getting more beast formers, the ball joints kind of help that round shape as well. So I've got nothing against ball joints. There was a girl I was dating in college. Quick ball joint story. A girl I was dating in college. She had a elementary school age little brother, and I'd had to babysit him a few times, and would just like take his Digimon toys and rip the arms off as his punishment because I couldn't get him to listen to me because what 7-year-old's going to listen to a kid in college? And but they were ball joints, so they could pop back on, and he didn't know that. But I knew that I could rip the arm joints off and the leg joints off and pop them back on. So that's what I did. And,
so when Mom came home and he said, "Mr. Phil broke my toys."
Oh, they were already put together by then because he started to listen because I broke his toys in front of him.
I think ball joints overall revolutionized Transformers.
100%.
Think about how amazing Beast Wars was.
Even before Beast Wars, go back to the Cyberjets.
Yeah.
The first time the Cyberjets dropped, it was like, whoa, something's different about these. They've got knees and hips and elbows. It's a revelation.
Yep. Even guys like Jolt and Volt, Sizzle. But I think ball joints, even though they came out in G2, Beast Wars is really what the tolerance was there finally, where they could actually stand up and be posable, and it finally was down to a science. And Beast Wars revolutionized everything. Say what you will of it. You can be a trunk knot monkey guy or girl, or they, but without Beast Wars, we wouldn't have any of those movies. And that's the bottom line.
Dun, 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 dun.
the more you know.
Is that I kind of feel like this is a good place to wrap things up, Lucas.
How do the rest of you guys feel? Is this the
Yeah. What if I don't? What if I want to keep going?
But you haven't said anything for the last 45 minutes, so I think you checked out already.
I mean, we could talk more about Chug. Go ahead. You want to talk about Chug? What do you got to say?
He said every time we said Chug, he wasn't going to talk for a minute. I think he just, called us out on that.
You want to talk about back? Who's got the best back kibble out of the new line? I think it's Megatron.
You guys mentioned Armada Megatron earlier. I'm so glad that the time has finally come that people realize how crappy that Combiner Wars Megatron was. I hated that toy when it came out. I never wanted it. It looked god-awful. It was a brick that turned into a brick with arms and legs, and people were like, "Oh, it's the IDW style." Like, no, it's awful. It's bad. I don't think it was even a good Megatron for the time, and thank God folks finally warmed up to that fact.
And there was a Warpath remold, right? That never came out. Was it Combiner Wars or was it a different figure?
Combiner Wars is the Megatron we're talking about, but
yeah.
There was a later Megatron that came out, and there was a Warpath that was a remold, and we actually saw samples of it. It had a new head, but it was.
I don't recall this at all.
Somebody out there has to know what I'm talking about. In fact, you know what? It was before Combiner Wars, because I think it was like the last issue of the Transformers Collector Club's comic that had it on the cover.
I vaguely remember what you're talking about, and I don't remember what toy it was, but I vaguely remember something about a Warpath coming from a Megatron.
And everyone said, "Why is there a Leader Warpath coming out?" And then the figure never came out. Somebody look at
Paul. Did you chime in with any figures that you're looking for, or that you wish would come out?
No, the Starscream.
I didn't. You know that? I didn't. So, I kind of joined this episode late, so I didn't make a list or anything. But one thing, this is a silly thing I thought might be funny. It's like they should make a full-size range of costumes for adults to become the alien kid Aaron, and then a bunch of core class toys of all the figures of all the characters in that episode of Child's Play, which is a G1 episode, where they go to an alien planet and they are the size of toys because these aliens are huge compared to humans. So they are actually like very, very small.
I'm surprised I've never seen that at a convention before.
Yeah, it's just kind of something that's just
cosplay
left out.
Yeah, that's a pretty genius move right there as a cosplay. There was a great cosplay at TFCon. Somebody combined the Macho Man Randy Savage and Ultra Magnus.
He was at Baltimore too, if I recall.
And that was pretty great. That was pretty great. Mattel's doing that with the WWE and the He-Man line. I kind of feel like we need something like that in Transformers.
Next crossover idea.
Like ADW mixed with Transformers or something. I don't know.
Have you read the backs of some of those packages, like for the wrestlers that are dead? Like Piper and Ultimate Warrior, they're like, Ultimate Warrior's back from the grave to lead the evil horde. And it's like, whoa, God. Wait a minute. Oh. Okay.
Let the man die.
I mean, at least it's not like Piper's back from the grave to defeat the Caliphate or something, like.
Well, here we go, Paul. So you're, got some good cosplay ideas for you.
Ooh, I have an idea for Paul's Starscream thing that'll hit one of our notes that we were talking about earlier. We need a Starscream in Action Master deco.
Yeah.
With the head colors inverted, and his arms the wrong color.
Yeah.
You could actually build that out of
Thundercracker.
the siege mold pretty well just by part swapping, which are my favorite kinds of customs. Because you can always go back if you want.
Oh, do you have one of those built?
Yeah.
Can I see it?
Hold on.
Touch it.
So Enots in the chat did mention there was a Legends class Warpath and Megatron that shared engineering, but I am not aware of the leader class. I never saw anything about that. But there was.
Yeah, the Legends class one was Thrilling 30, I think, Gen 14.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like the right time frame. Yeah, it was leader class. I'm never wrong about anything.
He needs a new figure.
Took me a sec to find
it. To me, this guy is
Tidal
like
wave.
one of the most obvious.
Yeah, so here it is.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah. Do that. Give me that.
God.
Yeah, so I pull the wings back so it looks like he doesn't have them from the front, but they're still there if you want. But yeah, it looks good.
For my Action Masters, I cannibalized a bunch of Pretender Starscream wings and built little backpacks out of them and painted them up and plugged them into the hole in the back of my Action Masters. And I painted, I had extra Starscreams, and I made Thundercracker Skywarp and gave wings to everybody. And
so
now there are that many fewer wings on the market from 20 years ago.
There was Action Master art for Thundercracker at Hasbro that I found, but it was actually a new mold.
So it wasn't like Disco Scream?
No, it was called Thundercracker on the control art, and it was a new mold. And Smokescreen and Cliffjumper were new molds as well.
Wow,
it's a real shame.
Yeah,
it's a real shame you didn't steal that.
I'm just kind of laughing.
Gone forever.
Because I'm laughing because I'm like, Action Masters, they're awesome, they're great. Fuck those red toys, those things suck.
Red's an interesting line, Like, it's kind of all over the place, and not in a way that makes sense to me.
If only we did a show on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just the other day. Episode, because I'm like, well, A, I was at a concert, and B is like, Red sucks. Give me Action Masters.
Yep.
Well, the thing about Action Masters is like you can do them right now because they did something that they don't do anymore, where they made up like at least a dozen new characters.
Yeah.
That kind of made sense as Transformers. They gave them kibble and all that stuff, and so now we have the ability to kind of go back and be like, hey, let's give these guys some love, and we've gotten some luck there, but there's still some missing dudes.
Yeah. We've got Croc. We got the orange mainframe Jackpot recently. Yep. We had that red homage in one of the movie lines that was a weird like hover cycle thing.
Oh, was that a rat? That was rad, right? Was that rad?
It was the closest thing we've ever gotten to a rad.
You guys mentioned Pretenders earlier, and there was something I didn't hear anyone say, but like they've always been these little guys, right? It's just they just can't commit. They need to do a Voyager shell that has a deluxe toy inside of it.
Thunderwing and Black Shadow. Do them. Do Crossblades as a Voyager.
Just try it. Do one. You don't have to do them all. Just
you only have to do two.
One.
If you do two, then you can redeco them into the other two. If you do Crossblades and Thunderwing, then you get Black Shadow and Blue Bacchus, and then you've hit all the notes. Look at that. And we'll spend all the money.
Do it.
I mean, there was a time where I would have said, no, that'll never happen, but I believe never say never at this point. Anything is possible.
I think Pretenders are the most difficult thing to get right. Like it wasn't done right the first time. And it's like, okay, well, how do you make it better than that? I mean, and the answer is very difficult to hit. I don't know. But I know we haven't gotten there yet.
So as a guy who loves Pretenders, I would love for Super 7 or the Red Line to hit some of those guys, specifically Skullgrin and Stranglehold. But
didn't they say was Skullgrin in some of the leaked listings or no?
He was.
Yeah. A core cast Skullgrin.
Curious how that's
good. Yeah, I think what was he originally? He was like whatever Prime, they didn't even call him Skullgrin as the actual toy. I think it was Liege. No, he was Liege Maximo.
Yeah, the all the Pretenders were wrong in the way they named him. They just did whatever.
So it'd be nice to have him come out and actually be called Skullgrin. That'd be kind of cool.
Yep.
Breakdown.
I was going to say, I did want to mention book club this week is going to be Till All Are One issues 9 and 10. So check that out on Sunday nights at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central on the TF Talk Discord.
Paul, did you have any final thoughts on Chug? You didn't give us your theory on bat kibble.
And Ron wanted to have a 30-minute diatribe from you on the knockoff fans toys. Didn't even get that in, so.
Sorry, there's no time. There's no time to talk about mutants. No time to talk about Fantastic Four.
I think a minute's gone by. Yeah, I have nothing to say about either of those topics.
Well, there you go. Well, on
Tony
that
Raven-
note.
Paul?
Oh. What'd you say?
Did you sell press lately?
A Razor Crest?
Come again?
Razor
Yeah.
Crest?
I thought you got one.
Press lately.
I thought you got one.
I did get one.
I think
have
he's
I
looking
sold
for
any?
the how much they're worth. What's the pricing on them lately?
Oh, I never pay attention. I just I price it where I want the money. So that's what I price it at, regardless if it makes sense.
That's the charm of Paul.
Yep. And I always get what I want.
So I do want to thank you guys for being on the show tonight, and I want to thank everyone participating in the chat, including Randall, Ron, Catherine, Enots. There's actually quite a number of people here tonight. If I miss anyone, I apologize. Soulcraft was in there. Cassetticantoon. Who else did I? Daniel. Earlier as well.
I want to point out that this is not a drill. It is a hammer. Not a
and the Melvar earlier as well. So there we go. All right. Well, let's see what else. Oh, what is? Anyway, there will be a cut the tape this week, so we'll make sure and put that up towards the end of the week, and then we are going to have a microcasters as well. So, but I'm not 100% sure. I think this week we may do a round robin again, and then I think next week we'll probably try to do the Legacy Bulkhead. Unfortunately, I have not been able to secure my copy yet, so they're waiting on me to do that. So
It's been out for a whole 3 days, Lucas. What are you waiting for?
I know. Well, that's the thing is I went to the Targets up here in Des Moines, and unfortunately, like I couldn't find it yet, but someone found one for me in Kansas City, so I just had to go, get it there. So
The only thing at my Targets are those stupid buzzworthy cups.
Buy them all.
Oh, Muka, I think we're going to have later in April, so I'm going to have some guest hosting here for the show because I'll be a little bit busy in April myself. But
What is Muka?
hopefully. Muka, I think there's it's a figure that Anna and Catherine, some of the other people have, I believe. So they wanted to feature that. So
I didn't know if that was like a DairyCon exclusive.
it sounds like it, right?
Yeah.
Hey, are we doing Ouch My Wallet or Oof My Wallet, Paul? What's going on? When is that coming back?
Give it a few weeks. There'll be a big one coming.
All right. It's been a while, man.
Something
How is
black,
it-
something gold, something new, something old.
How is it we've gotten a redo of Lionizer, but not Rad?
Yeah.
That's a crime.
Yep.
Those people
How's
should
it-
be fired.
It's not
Okay.
fair.
Repugni. We have Repugni.
Repugnance is awesome.
How big this is compared to me.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, and we will see you next week.
Hi, everybody.